Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the truth nobody wants to hear. But everyone knows deep down, life hurts. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. From the moment we open our eyes, the world begins to throw its weight at us. Death, illness, betrayal, disappointment, failure. There's no escaping it. You can try to hide, numb yourself with distractions, drown in comfort, or lie to yourself with pretty illusions. But suffering, it finds you anyway. So the question isn't, how do I avoid pain? The question is, what do I do with it? You see, suffering is not a glitch in the system. It is the system. It's the cost of being alive, of caring, of striving, of daring to love or dream. But here's the truth that too many people never figure out. Suffering isn't meaningless. Unless you make it meaningless, that's the difference between someone who collapses and someone who climbs. One sees suffering as the end, the other as the beginning. There's power in pain, if you choose to carry it with purpose. Every scar can become a story, every failure a lesson, every loss a reason to grow deeper roots. You don't have to be a victim of your suffering. You can become the author of it. You can stand up and say, this is not going to break me. This is going to build me. But don't expect it to be easy. Don't expect applause. Nobody is going to hand you a blueprint and tell you, here's exactly how to make your pain worth something. That's your job, that's your mission. You have to dig through the wreckage of your life and find the pieces worth saving. And then you build, you take responsibility, not because it's fair, but because it's necessary. You pick up your suffering like a cross on your back, and you walk forward anyway. Do you know why that's so powerful? Because when you do that, when you carry your own burden with your head held high, you give other people permission to do the same. You become proof that it can be done, that it's possible to face the darkness and not be consumed by it, that it's possible to feel the weight of life and still choose to stand up tall. There's no magic fix coming, no miracle that erases the hard parts. What you do have is the opportunity, every single day, to make it count, to take the suffering you never asked for and turn it into the strength you never knew you had. So when life breaks you open, don't just bleed. Build something honest, build something strong. Build a version of you that knows what it means to suffer, and who chooses to move forward anyway. Because that's not just survival, that's meaning, that's power, that's real. Chaos is coming, whether you're ready or not. That's not meant to scare you, it's just the truth. Life doesn't wait for you to feel stable or comfortable. It doesn't care about your plans, your schedule, your timeline. Chaos crashes in without warning. One phone call, one conversation, one accident, one betrayal. Suddenly everything you thought was solid begins to shake. And in those moments, when the ground falls out from under you, the question becomes clear. Will you fall with it, or will you stand anyway? See, most people are waiting for things to settle down before they act, before they grow, before they get serious. They think one day the noise will fade, the anxiety will disappear, the world will calm down, and then they'll step up, then they'll get disciplined, then they'll do the hard things, but that day doesn't come. Chaos isn't a storm you outlast, it's the environment you learn to live in. The world is unpredictable, painful, fast, and unfair. That's the battlefield, that's life, but you aren't powerless in it. You can choose how you show up. You can choose to plant your feet and not get blown over by every wave that hits you. That doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means being strong because it isn't. It means understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward while afraid. And you are capable of that. So much more capable than you've been told. Standing tall in chaos doesn't mean you're not shaking inside. It means you've decided that your values matter more than your comfort. It means you've chosen responsibility over retreat, order over collapse. Maybe your world is on fire. Your job is falling apart. Your relationships are crumbling. You don't know who you are anymore. And still, in the middle of that chaos, you get up, you take a breath, and you do the next right thing. That's not weakness, that's power. It starts small. You wake up and make your bed even though everything feels pointless. You show up on time even when your mind is drowning. You keep your promises. You tell the truth. You fix what you can, and you stop pretending you have no control. Because here's the thing, You may not be able to control the chaos around you, but you can control the chaos within you. And when you do that, when you bring order to your own soul, you become someone who can carry real weight, someone others look to, someone who doesn't crumble just because the world does. There will always be another disaster waiting, another failure, another loss, but that doesn't mean you have to be destroyed by every one of them. You're allowed to be strong. You're allowed to rise. You're allowed to face chaos and say, not today. I'm not going down with this storm. And the more you do that, the stronger you become, not in spite of the chaos, but because of it. It's easy to look out at the world and see everything that's broken. Corruption, violence, inequality, dishonesty. It's overwhelming, and the instinct is to shout, to protest, to demand that someone do something, that the system needs to change, that the world has to get better, and maybe it does. But here's the hard truth most people avoid. If you can't even bring order to your own life, what makes you think you're ready to fix the world? You want to create change. Start where you are. Start small. Start with what you can touch, what you can see, what you live in every day. Clean up your room, organize your space, show up on time, take care of your body, speak honestly. Because if the place you live in is a mess, if your relationships are full of resentment, if your habits are dragging you down, then your criticism of the world doesn't mean much. Chaos starts at home, and so does order. There's something powerful about taking ownership of your environment, not because it's about being neat or tidy, but because it's symbolic. If you can bring order to your physical space, you can start bringing order to your mental space. Every unmade bed, every dirty dish, every missed commitment, it reflects a deeper part of your life that's out of control. So take a step, just one. Make your bed, fold your laundry, clean your desk. You'll be amazed at what that small act can spark inside you. And this isn't just about cleanliness. It's about discipline. It's about respect for yourself and the people around you. If your corner of the world is falling apart and you're ignoring it, you're telling yourself that you don't matter, that your life isn't worth organizing, but that's a lie. You do matter, and when you act like it, when you take responsibility for what's yours, everything changes. You stand up straighter. You think more clearly. You speak with more conviction. You stop hiding behind the excuse that the world is too far gone to fix. The truth is, most people want to change everything except themselves. They want to rewrite laws, restructure institutions, and revolutionize society without ever looking in the mirror. But you can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. You can't demand truth if you're not living it, so start there. Fix what you can touch. Clean up what's around you. Become someone who handles their responsibilities with care, who speaks with honesty, who lives with integrity. That's not small. It's the foundation for everything else. When you take care of your corner of the world, you're not just making it better for yourself. You're making it better for everyone around you. You become someone who brings light into the chaos, and that light spreads quietly, powerfully, one disciplined life at a time. Strength is not something you're born with. It's not a gift handed to you when life feels generous. Real strength, deep, grounded, unshakable strength, is earned. It's forged in pain, pressure, and persistence. It comes from doing hard things over and over again, especially when no one's watching, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when everything in you wants to quit. That's when it's built. The truth is, the strongest people you know, the ones who walk with confidence, who speak with clarity, who hold steady in the storm, they didn't wake up that way. They weren't given some magical trait that made life easier for them. They just made a decision to get up when it would have been easier to stay down, a decision to take responsibility when it would have been easier to blame, a decision to carry weight when it would have been easier to run from it. And those decisions, repeated over time, created something solid, something real, something you can't fake. You don't earn strength in comfort. You earn it in discipline, in the mornings when you rise before the sun to train, to think, to work, in the nights when you choose self-control over temporary pleasure, in the moments you bite your tongue instead of lashing out, in the days you push through even when you're exhausted. That's where strength lives, in the resistance, in the tension, in the sacrifice, and the more you choose that path, the more power you discover inside yourself. Strength isn't loud, it doesn't need to scream, it's quiet, it's stable, it shows up when things fall apart, when everyone else panics, the strong stay calm, when everyone else complains, the strong take action. They've been through the fire, they've faced themselves, they've wrestled with their weaknesses, and they've come out the other side. Not perfect, but tougher, wiser, more capable. You can't fake earned strength. You can try to talk like you have it, act like you have it, but when pressure hits, the truth shows, and that's not a reason to feel ashamed. It's a reason to start, to build, to test yourself in the small things so you can be ready for the big ones. Because life will test you, it will throw things at you that you didn't ask for, that you didn't see coming, and in that moment you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of preparation, so build yourself. Build in silence, build in private. Show up when it's hard, do the work nobody sees, earn it. No shortcuts, no pity, no begging for strength you haven't trained for. You want to be someone who can handle the chaos, who can lead, who can protect, who can overcome. Then prove it every day in your actions, in your habits, in your mindset, because strength isn't found, it's made. You are capable of far more than you think. That voice in your head, the one that doubts you, that whispers you're not ready, not good enough, not smart enough, it's a liar. It feeds on your hesitation, your fear, your history of failure, but that voice doesn't know your full story. It doesn't know what you're capable of if you really committed, if you really tried. You've barely scratched the surface of your potential, and deep down, some part of you knows that. Some part of you knows that you're not living at your highest level, that there's more inside you, and you feel it. Not as pride, but as a quiet frustration, a tension you carry around every day. The uncomfortable awareness that you could be doing more, becoming more, and you're not? Not yet. What if, instead of listening to that voice of doubt, you put it to the test? What if you acted like you were capable, even if you didn't fully believe it yet? What would happen if you gave something your full effort, not for a day or a week, but relentlessly? Most people never find out because they quit too soon. They get uncomfortable and back off. They hit resistance and decide that must be a sign they're not meant to continue. But resistance doesn't mean stop, it means you're growing. It means you're pushing past your limits, and that's exactly where your untapped strength lives. Beyond the limits you've convinced yourself are real. You've overcome things already that you once thought you couldn't. Think about that. There were moments in your past where you didn't know how you'd get through, and yet you did. You survived, you adapted, you learned. That wasn't luck, that was proof. Proof that when pressed, when challenged, when pushed to the edge, you rose. And you can do it again, not just to survive this time, but to build something greater. The problem is, too many people wait for permission. They wait to feel ready, but you don't need permission to step into your potential. You need action, you need discipline. You need to decide that the fear of staying the same is greater than the fear of trying and failing. Because failure, that's just part of the process. Every time you fall, you learn. Every time you fail, you get sharper, stronger, closer. You'll never know how far you can go until you go all in. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But the growth, the confidence, the pride of knowing you gave it everything, that's worth every drop of sweat and every ounce of doubt. You are not weak. You are not average. You are not stuck. You are simply waiting to meet the version of yourself that's been hiding behind hesitation. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to test your limits. Because the truth is, you've always been capable of more. Now it's time to prove it. Get your act together. Because whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. People are learning from you. People are depending on you to be someone they can trust, someone they can follow, someone who shows up, and that matters. It matters more than most people want to admit. We like to think our actions affect only us, that our decisions are personal, that our habits and struggles stay contained. But they don't. They ripple outward. Your chaos becomes someone else's burden. Your lack of discipline becomes someone else's instability, and your strength, your courage, your responsibility, and become someone else's lifeline. You're not just living for yourself, you never were. The way you carry yourself in the world, the way you face your problems, the way you take ownership of your flaws, the way you build structure out of disorder, sets an example. And the people around you, especially the ones who care about you, are taking cues from that. They're learning how to handle life by watching how you handle it. And if you collapse, if you drift, if you waste your days numbing yourself from responsibility, then they learn that that's normal, that that's acceptable, that that's the standard. But what if you rose instead? What if you showed them that it's possible to face the weight of life without folding under it? That it's possible to turn pain into purpose, confusion into clarity, weakness into strength? What if you became a symbol of what's possible, not just what's common? This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. Perfection was never the goal. It means you aim higher. You clean up the messes in your life, not just because you're tired of them, but because other people are tripping over them too. You start showing up on time. You start telling the truth. You keep your promises even when they're inconvenient. You build something stable inside yourself so that others have something solid to lean on when everything else around them is falling apart. You think no one sees the small changes, the private victories, the silent decisions to do the right thing even when it's hard. They do. It matters. Your discipline matters. Your honesty matters. Your strength matters. And when you carry that with humility, not arrogance, but quiet certainty, you become the kind of person who lifts others up without even trying to. You become the kind of person others feel safer around, stronger around, more focused around. Because the truth is, every time you level up, every time you put your life in order, you raise the standard for the people in your orbit. You show them that it can be done, that it's worth it, that the work, the responsibility, the sacrifice, it leads somewhere, somewhere better, somewhere stronger, and in a world full of noise and excuses, that kind of example is rare. That kind of presence is needed. So get your act together, not just for you, but for all the people silently counting on you to rise.